wanted to pop in and do a quick YouTube live update, giving you a look ahead to the Labor Day weekend, as well as a few showers that are out there right now. So let me flip this back around. We'll get started here in about 30 seconds to a minute. It'll give me a chance to get everything working here behind the scenes, but there's a look at radar at this time. We've seen more in the way of thunderstorms earlier on this afternoon, and now we're starting to see the energy in the atmosphere kind of start to tail off, and really that's transitioning us over to more just shower activity for the rest of the evening. So I will be back just momentarily, but we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Is being a little bit difficult. Normally it's smooth and easy, but I'm having a little issue here behind the scenes. And just a little one. It shouldn't be a big one. Something I should be able to fix here in just a moment if it doesn't work. All right, there we go. Now we're in good shape. So with that, now I'd say let's get started. But again, we're looking at a radar, or we were looking at radar just a moment ago. Showers and thunderstorms on the backside of our low pressure system and the monsoonal moisture that brought us the very beneficial rainfall, especially into southwestern Montana, is beginning to push off to the east. And as it does so, we're kind of essentially squeezing out the last little bits of moisture from the atmosphere and from our region before high pressure builds back in. Now, one little piece of good news. I just want to do a quick update on our wildfires, which have really been knocked down by the amount of rain, especially some of our bigger fires down into west central and southwestern Montana. Very few of these have seen any kind of growth over the last couple of days because of the rainfall and the clouds and the cooler temperatures. The only ones that have maybe seen a little bit more growth today, back over into the Island Creek fire in Idaho, and also the Ransom fire up here closer to Libby. Really in those areas, we didn't see quite as much in the way of rainfall over the last few days. So the drier conditions in those zones have allowed those fires to start picking back up just a hair. I think we'll see more activity on our wildfires over the next couple of days, just as temperatures really start to climb area-wide and we start to dry out. And one thing to note, and as I flip back to radar here in just a second and get it looping again, you'll be able to see a fair amount of lightning strikes. There's not these, let me see if I can actually make them a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. We had a lot of lightning in some of our thunderstorms earlier on this afternoon, back into northwest and west central Montana. So again, areas that maybe didn't see quite as much in the way of rainfall are unfortunately dealing with lightning strikes. So this is the loop over the last 3 hours. You can see those thunderstorms that have moved through northwest and west central Montana. A few of those actually right now up into Kalispell. So here in a second we'll stop this, stop the loop and take a closer look at that. And I know I completely forgot, but if you have any questions or comments as we go throughout this update, feel free to ask them in the chat section. I know for me it's been it's been a long week, so my brain's kind of a little bit scattered, a little bit frazzled to an extent. Typical Friday end of the week vibes, I'll just say that. But now that I'm a little bit more back on track, still looking at that chance for a few thunderstorms this evening. Let me stop this and zoom in to where we have some of our heaviest activity, and this is also including down here towards Bozeman, where we've seen a few weak thunderstorms develop, not seeing a whole lot of lift in those, only seeing some of these, yellow and slightly orange patches in radar. But that gives you even that is enough to start sparking off some lightning strikes. So unfortunately for some of those Big Sky Friday nights games, I know we're getting towards the end of those games. We may be running into lightning problems back down here towards Bozeman. I know we have at least one game down here in Bozeman. I think Hellgate is there at Bozeman High, and even Sentinel I think is over at Belgrade, but that one I could be wrong on. So a few thunderstorms there, a few lightning strikes, maybe slowing down some of those games. Same thing up into the Flathead Valley as well. We've got a few thunderstorms right across, barely tucked in there up here in Kalispell. So I believe both Kalispell teams may be out of town, but still, just throughout the whole area, still dealing with a few showers, a few thunderstorms rolling through. The strongest of these is right now just on the north side of Lakeside, so Lakeside up to Summers, and then it'll move across the northern side of the lake over here towards Big Fork and Woods Bay. So if you're on the northern side of the lake, then don't be surprised to see a few lightning strikes out there. But in general, the trend with these is a downward one. We're starting to see the energy in the atmosphere, I won't say completely fall apart, but it's being absorbed, or it's being used by the storms that we saw earlier on the day. And after this, we're going to be looking at much quieter conditions, a few lingering showers up until maybe 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I think after that, we're talking about the ridge of high pressure really starting to build and take shape. And this weekend for Labor Day weekend, mostly clear skies, warming temperatures. Saturday, we're talking upper 70s to upper 80s for most of the region. Sunday, they're even warmer. We're going to be ranging anywhere from the low 80s to the mid 90s. Missoula, one of our hotter spots there at 91, but up into far northwestern Montana, places like Libby, Troy, down through Noxon, Heron, Trout Creek, Thompson Falls. We could be seeing some of the hottest temperatures we've seen all season as that ridge of high pressure continues to build off to our west, and then maybe even more so right overhead into Monday and Tuesday. But here's the forecast we're looking at for Libby: 100 and 101 degrees for Monday and Tuesday. So it is going to be a scorcher for a few places on Labor Day, the unofficial end to summer. But we're going to be pretty warm out there. So Libby is going to be one of our hot spots. Most of the rest of the area, we're still going to be looking at upper 80s to lower 90s. Not quite to this, I'll say almost extreme heat, but up there enough. But even for tomorrow, we're talking 92 in Libby, 96 for Saturday, and the heat sticks around until at least the middle parts of that, the middle parts of next week, if not the end of next week. In general, temperatures anywhere from about 5 to 15 degrees above average. Here's looking at Missoula. Labor Day Monday, we're at 93 degrees. Sunday and Tuesday, bookending that at 91 degrees. But you see those temperatures pretty close to about 15 degrees warmer than where we normally would be at this time of the year. Again, 5 to 15 is about average for what we're going to see the next few days area-wide. But a few locations may be more in that 15 to 20 degree above average range, including Kalispell, looking at that high temperature on Monday of 91 degrees. Down in southwest Montana, maybe just a hair cooler, 82 for Butte and Dillon, 86 Bozeman, 73 down into West Yellowstone. And then as we get into Tuesday, very similar type of conditions. We may start to see those temperatures drop just a little bit down in southwestern Montana, not a whole lot. We will have the ridge off to the ridge of high pressure that's going to be centered over the region starts to backtrack back off to the west just a little bit, and as it does so, we could get a little storm system to dive in from the north. At best, we're probably just talking a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, but maybe a little drop in temperatures just due to that northerly flow. That's still a couple of days away, so that'll be one that we watch as we go throughout this weekend. And really, that's all that I have. Fortunately, weather is pretty quiet outside of those few showers and storms this evening. We're going to be looking at a warm, dry Labor Day weekend and into Labor Day itself. Looking ahead to our potential next storm system, again, Tuesday, Wednesday, there is a chance right now for a couple of isolated showers, slight dip in temperatures. I think towards the end of next week, that's when we might see a stronger system move through, a bit more of a pattern change, and that could lead to not only some rainfall, but some cooler temperatures back down into the 70s for many areas. So this may be, I wouldn't say our last gasp of summer, but this may be one of those last big pushes of summertime heat as we start to really transition back into more fall-like weather, just based on averages. For Missoula, as an example, one of our typically warmer spots that lingers a little bit further, we're at 80 degrees for our average high. Going into September, we're going to be dropping through the 70s and even into the 60s, I think, by the end of the month for those average high temperatures. So if you are a summer lover, a warm weather lover, go out and enjoy it this weekend. Make sure to stay hydrated, stay cool, as those temperatures are going to be up there in the 90s and maybe even some low 100s up into far northwestern Montana, 80s in southwest Montana. One other little note, this is more just maybe a bit of a personal plug, but if you didn't see my newest 3D weather segment, it's all about the urban heat island effect, kind of analyzing the science behind why that develops and what can make it stronger. I thought there was some really cool information in there. If you're interested in that, that is now live on our website, nbcmontana.com. So feel free to take a look at that. And then also, if you have any photos or videos of the thunderstorms that we saw this evening, maybe even how you're enjoying your Labor Day, feel free to share some of those with us at nbcmontana.com/chime in. I know we've had some pretty cool wildlife photos and videos the last couple of days. We even had a funnel cloud yesterday afternoon out towards Livingston, so it was kind of a bit of a surprise there, but we had one of those cold air funnels in the afternoon. That was shared to us through our Facebook inbox, and then we also have had, again, lots of stuff come in through Chime In. And then I think from there, tune into our live broadcast tonight here in just about 40 minutes for the latest news and weather updates. And also, it is the first Big Sky Friday night show of the season. We're going to have our sports director, Alex Hoffman, hosting that show, showing you the highlights from across the region. It's set and bound to be a great start to the season for high school football. And then, of course, every Friday night we'll be doing the same thing. We'll have that first initial hit of news and weather, and then Alex will take over for the second half of our broadcast and with Big Sky Friday nights. So it should be all good out there. And I think with that, I'll wrap it up. Thank you all for taking a little bit of your Friday evening to spend with me. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and have a safe weekend. Have an enjoyable Labor Day. And I'll see you all on the next one, likely next week. All right. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Coombs. Good night, everyone.